Buddy.
Nobody's here. Nobody's here when they're here.
No, yeah,
Nobody's here.
well,
As we're back on Kick. For everybody on Kick that watches us, both of you, we love you more than anything.
everyone might notice that I'm not goofy. There
They
might be
might
some
notice
stark.
that.
There are some differences.
It's all right. The first time me and Goofy started doing this, because Goofy was on his channel keeping it comic, he has a partner. His partner guy named Desi. So it's
Hmm.
Goofy and Desi. And the first time we did this, we were doing it on my channel and Goofy's channel. We were kind of alternating before we created our own. And one of Goofy's regulars was like, "Man, Desi's looking rough." And I was just like, "I know Desi. He's right."
Yeah.
So
Ah,
yeah,
see?
so
First
yeah,
message. That ain't goofy. You
yeah.
are
So
correct.
anyone who was here last week knows that yesterday was Goofy's birthday, which means he is how
Happy
much? Well, hold on, let
birthday.
me check. We are 1 minute into the stream. Okay, so he is raw dogging now that he can't have any more kids. His wife for the rest of the weekend. Uh, and as a good friend, I'm not going to make him. And I reached out to a good friend of mine who we used to do a podcast together.
You did.
His name is Ominus, and he's going to take on the righteous role for the podcast and keep me in check for every dumb thing I say, and generally go on. The only difference between Ominous and Goofy, and I do mean only, you motherfuckers, is Ominous watches Star Wars.
I
So
do.
there
And
might be a
I
little bit more of a Star Wars back and forth.
I watch all the things. Because I have no life and I don't sleep because I hate my job. So
It's true. It's
what?
true.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so
Um,
Jay, we have one. So I'm gonna tell about yourself while I continue to play.
well,
Also, the other
yeah,
thing that you don't know, Ominous, is most of the time when we're doing this, one of us is talking and the other of us is playing a video game or watching something on the separate screen.
yeah.
So
Well, what everyone doesn't know is the ill-fated oh god, another person playing that stupid TCG shop that I have to hear about. I don't care about your cards. I'm just kidding. I do care about your cards. As a reformed Magic player, I just don't actually want to hear about your fake cards. They mean nothing to me. I'm full of self-righteous vim and vigor. Uh, so no, as Tony mentioned, we used to be on a podcast together. It was on Marvel. It kind of just fell out as our third. What's like not co-host, but like if there's three of you,
co-host is fair.
decided to go have a baby and like live an awesome life. I hope so. Vinny, if you're
Yeah,
out there, we love
poor
you.
Vinny. Poor Vinny with his wife and two kids and living a good life. That
Yeah.
bastard. Yeah, like it didn't
Meanwhile,
really.
it's me and
Yeah.
Tony
Keep in mind,
hanging out.
the best part of it is like Vinny was great. Love Vinny to death. Never change if he ever has free time again in his life, which I expect in like 5 or 6 years when his kids are old enough to, you know, not
I re-
die when someone's looking at
Tony,
them.
you don't know how children work. You
I have
need to
no
watch them
understanding of children.
until they are 23.
No, when they're
So
6, they go work in the mines. The kids yearn
the
for the
chil-
mines. We talked
the
about this.
children yearn for the mines.
Yeah.
So you said I can talk about anything, right? When are we
Go
turning back
ahead.
child labor laws? That's what I need to know.
When are we turning back child labor laws?
Yeah.
Well, so the question's gonna come down to if Walmart and Target can't get more employees anytime soon, like real
How
soon.
are how are they going to run out of employees? Old people can't afford to retire. Like
Yeah, but like then they break their hip with their work and they get workman's comp, and then Target has to pay workman's comp.
they don't do that. They just make
Someone
them work
talking about
still.
child labor was.
Um no, but I mean, yeah, Vinny's not going to have free time until those children are at least 18.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, so Vinny kind of like he's like, hey man, I really just don't have the free time anymore.
Yeah.
And we tried too for like a couple weeks. We're like, all right, we'll work around your schedule. And then Ominous, I don't know if you know what he does for a living. He buys and sells fake things for fake people.
Oh, I have a fake email
Insurance,
job.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
insurance,
have
I
a
think is the
fake
word.
yeah. And it's a soul sucking, crushing process that has me working 70 hours a week. So this is actually my off time right about now. So this is
Yeah.
a nice break where I'm not, banging my head in answering emails, have with this deranged look in the glow. So this is me happy.
Yeah. And we went from having the conversations on Marvel comics and TV shows and movies on a podcast to doing it privately every night as we hang out.
Yeah.
So I'm this good friend, former co-host, very comfortable obviously with this, and that's it. And now I don't know if anybody else, again, no news this week, no major news this week, right? There's a couple of things here and there. Some good comics have come out, some good information maybe, but nothing major. DC, as always, no news in DC. The only thing to watch in DC is like Kite Man right now. But the
Oh
first two
God.
episodes of Agatha dropped. I didn't even know that until today. I forgot completely. I thought it was coming closer to Halloween. And we last week we
I
were like,
mean,
we have no idea.
it'll no. So like, if they follow the standard Marvel trend, the last episode should air like right on Halloween.
That's fair.
Because I
But
assume it's
yeah,
going to be a bullshit 6 episode season.
I was a little bit more pseudo receptive to Agatha than I think Goofy was.
Oh,
Which is unique too, because usually I'm the one who's like, I don't care. But like the idea for me was like, I don't care, and because of that, I don't have any like horse in the race. So I looked at who's in them, like Patty LaBelle's in it, not Patty LaBelle, Patty LaPone, sorry, Patty LaPone is in it. Uh,
Bell,
yeah,
isn't she dead? I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
that's
she's
why I was like,
dead.
wait a minute, I'm pretty sure she ain't alive.
It fits the theme actually. So
Could have been right. I wasn't that off. Um,
they're
so is
okay. So they're doing 2 episodes for Halloween. Okay, that makes sense.
that makes sense. So they did two at the beginning, and they're gonna do two at the end, which is a good release structure. I really hate the long the week. I still hate that structure. I understand why it happens, but I'm always gonna bitch about it. It's never gonna stop. But yeah, it came out, and I watched both of the episodes earlier today, and I Catherine Hahn is in it. I forgot her
Aubrey
name.
Plaza.
Sashim. Aubrey Plaza, Shashim. Oh God, I forgot her name. She was on SNL for 2 years. Sasheen something. She's in it. She plays what's her name? Jennifer Hale.
Oh God,
Yeah,
no, not
they got
Jennifer
all
Hale.
Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer
Oh,
Hale is the name of a voice actress. The one who does FemShep.
Jessica Hale?
Maybe, I don't know.
No,
I
Jennifer
do
Hale.
actually.
Her name is actually, yeah, it is actually.
Okay. I was like, well,
No, no,
Jennifer
no.
Hale.
Jennifer Hale is a voice actress who's
Yeah,
also
for
voice
FemShep.
acted well, also
Female.
Black Cat in and she
Yeah.
was the voice of not Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah.
In 97?
Yeah, 97, yeah. It just popped up.
Sick.
Okay, I know Hale is the last name. It's gonna
And it's not Lizzie Hale because we were just talking
we were
about,
just talking
you
about
know.
Jennifer Kale. Jennifer Kale. Okay. I was
Hale.
half
Okay.
right.
All right.
And then it has all the characters from WandaVision in it, or most of the characters from WandaVision in it. And it's giving spoopy, not spooky, spoopy vibes,
As much
from what
as
I've
much as
seen.
like a Disney, we can say Marvel, but it's still Disney. I do appreciate though, Marvel just like absolutely horny posting on like their main Twitter right now with just everything Aubrey Plaza. Like
Yep.
uh then that scene in the first episode where she's like licking Catherine Hale's hand, just
Yep.
straight up, no context. That's what they're posting. Just her like busting in the door. So if anything uh is the takeaway from this. It's that finally Marvel is allowed to horny post.
So, spoilers for the first episode. Actually, for the first 8 minutes of the episode, Catherine Hahn is straight naked.
Yeah,
Yeah, just straight naked in the episode. She's covered. Like you don't see anything. You see her
we
butt.
get we get Catherine Hahn ass.
Yeah, we got Catherine Hahn booty. Oh, did you watch it?
I did. When
Oh,
so
nice.
like in
In
that
the hour
hour when I
before you went to watch
yeah,
it.
what
Okay.
no, I didn't that wasn't like the only purpose. Like I said, I've
Yeah.
had a abs as you've been aware, an absolute shit week and I was like I kind of needed like a little bit of time to decompress before I was like my bright, bubbly, cheerful self. Otherwise, I just would have been in a true state of self-loathing.
Sure,
So I
sure.
was like let me go take a shower, decompress. I was like, I might as well put this on since I'm just going to sit here, you know, crying. And then I got all the tears out, and then now I'm here. So, but no, I did watch at least the first episode, and
Well,
I
yeah,
cracked up at the True Detective intro
yeah.
because recently, like within the last 3 months, I did like a full True Detective binge because I do think season one of True Detective is honestly probably one of the best like seasons of television that's ever been made in
Agreed.
its entirety. Seasons 2 and 3 weren't so great. I wasn't so sure on the season 4, but no, I was like, oh, this is like, I was like, what are they doing? I was like, oh, because I remembered what WandaVision was, which was taking TV shows, flipping them on their head, turning them into Wanda, and I like had completely forgotten about that because what WandaVision came out 4 years ago,
Three.
3, yeah,
Well, it was probably filmed and ready, but like it was 3 years ago. They allude to it. They kind of they
yeah.
kept it pretty tight in the story. They're like, this happened for about 3 years. Um, it addressed the fact that it said Wanda's dead, and then there was the scene where Agatha, again, this is going to be spoilery, but like you can't like nothing I'm going to say here is going
It's
to take
spoiler
away
for
anything.
episode
Yeah.
one.
Episode
Like it's
one, not even episode point 0.5 of a TV show that if you message me on Discord, I will just give you a link to. Like we're not. They know they're not making anything off of this. So again, it's a nothing show. The show has no stakes, and because of that, I'm in. We get Catherine Hahn, we get Aubrey Plaza. Um, we get a story, we get a tale, getting real Wicked Witch of the West,
yeah.
like Wizard of Oz vibes. Um, and I mean, I'm in. Like
It had a good hook.
the hook was simple. It's not they're not setting up anything, and Ominous, I don't believe Morgan Le Fay. No, she is
Ooh,
playing. If she's playing actual Morgan Le Fay, that would be dope sauce. Um,
that would.
but Rio Vidal is a character in the comics.
One I'm not
So
familiar with. I have
yeah,
pretty
but like
extensive
just
comic, but not.
Jennifer Kale, um, all of the witches are witches, but they are. How like there's Marvel and there's like what the Avengers deal with. There's what the Fantastic Four deal with. Very rarely is there overlap. Spider-Man, very rarely are you going to see like the Shocker show up in another person's comic. So they have their own tiny little universes.
Thor versus the Shocker
Yeah, like you're never going to see Shocker knocking over a bank and then
in
like
Asgard.
yeah, and then yeah, and like a nihilist just comes through like Rio Vidal. I thought she was. I thought Rio Vidal was a character. I thought she was a character in the comic. I thought she was one of the like throwaway characters um from like more recent.
I
If she's
know.
not if she's not a character and I'm wrong TLC, she's 100% Morgan Le Fay. Like No, I thought Rio Vidal sounded like one of the, because like Jennifer Kale is a character. She has a name. It's a stupid name. She was in the Marvel Zombies 4. It's not. It's like it's not Enchantress, but it might as well be Enchantress. Um,
It's got that. Yeah, see?
just gonna leave up this picture
Come.
of Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, it's not a picture, but like, yeah. You just keep scrolling down a little bit. There was a period early, yeah. Oof.
No, 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 absolutely not. Hey, Gonzo. No, absolutely not. She's Blackheart. She has to be Blackheart. No, I just
Oh
like
God,
I'm
that is an
thinking about
insane
it.
callback though
Yeah,
to all the theory shit posting that everyone was doing during WandaVision.
yeah, like it's Mephisto, right? Like no, but she has to be Blackheart. She straight up said,
My
"I
heart is
have a
black.
heart. It's black." Like, and then the picture was Blackheart, so she might have been a known person. She's got to be Blackheart, right? Like this is too. Marvel's not that good. Marvel's not that their TV department is duct
Not that
tape,
smart.
spit, and God's light in the distance. Like they have no idea how to set something up. They did well enough with it. Actually, that's not true. Their shows that are phenomenal tend to be the ones that nobody has any nobody expectation. Like Moon Knight, fucking great. Um,
Loki too. Yeah.
like well, Loki season 2 let me down a little, but there was reasons, right?
Really?
Like
Really?
the
Why?
ending, the ending.
You're
But
not a
again,
fan
that's
of?
it was Kang. It was how
Oh, well, that's because
it wasn't. The
everything with Kane
story
is
was
going to be.
fine. Just the situation. It was kind of like
Yeah.
you know how we kid gloves Black Panther Wakanda Forever because we can make fun of parts of that movie, but we also have to accept the fact that like they did the best with a lot of hard shit in front of them, and to make fun of it in addition to that kind of feels like, listen, they did their best and it wasn't terrible. Like that's good enough.
Yeah.
Um, Morgan ties to the Darkhold and the Black Knight, added bonus, which means more chance for Aubrey. Well, as you do know, I do love Aubrey Plaza.
Yes.
So I do want that to be true. I want it to be Morgan Le Fay. My problem is I truly believe Morgan Le Fay they have a plan for the character of Morgan Le Fay, and I think it's Tony Stark's daughter.
No.
I think they're good.
Absolutely not.
I think she's going to get
That, come
sent.
on.
I think the original plan. It sounds to because there was no reason that child would be named Morgan, except that Morgan Le Fay is canonically like a very big Iron Man bad guy. So I believe that the idea was Morgan Le Fay, especially because there were scenes that were cut from Endgame, where after Tony snapped, he saw the
Tony.
chick from 13 Reasons Why. What?
Tony. Okay.
What?
So,
What?
you know how Doom is played by Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
Doom, sorcerer, teaches Morgan, Tony's daughter, how to be a sorcerer. I'm all on board this plan now.
I'm in. We're good. Yeah. You heard it here first because we're insane. Easily Doctor Doom teaches Kid Morgan, who is played by the chick from 13 Reasons Why in a deleted scene on from Endgame.
Yeah. The like grown up scene where she's like
Yeah.
watching that video recording he had made.
Yeah, no. There was a scene that they deleted. I don't know if they put it in an extra scene or they just talked about it. But where after he snapped, you know how when Thanos snapped or when he got the Soul Stone and when he snapped, he talked to the girl, his little Gamora, and she's like, "What did it cost?" And he said everything.
Oh yeah.
There was
Now I know
supposed
which
to
one
be
you're
that
talking about.
scene, but he was talking to a quote unquote older version of his daughter, played by a chick that they've been trying to get in Marvel for a while because Marvel's weird. Not Catherine Newton. She was in. I always think that's her name, but no, she was Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Yeah,
Quantumania.
she replaced what's her
Catherine,
face?
no, I feel like whatever. Her name doesn't matter. She's not important. She was in 13 Reasons Why. That's all I need to say. Uh, and that scene, like her name is Morgan, and she was older, and a lot of this was multiverse and time travel theory, and Morgan Le Fay was supposed to like be basically like outside of time. Like she's not from the old days. She was displaced, word magic, kind of back and forth. She's too hot to play MSF. Who's? Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
Ah, yeah, okay. Um,
Yeah,
at
I
first I misread that and I thought it said Aubrey Plaza is hot enough to play a MILF, and I was like, that's
MLF.
what?
Yeah, Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah, I was like, and then my brain kicked in. And yeah. But no, I mean,
Oh, I think it's
going,
fine either way. I
yeah,
like, but also at the same time, Morgan Le Fay has a lot of draw power in like Morgan Le Fay can be a big bad, and I think that Marvel could use a woman big bad, and I don't like the concept of gender bending important characters, but I don't have a problem with gender bending secondary and tertiary characters or race swapping or anything like that. I've said it before. Like Luke Cage is always going to be black. Peter Parker has to be white. Like
you,
but Peter Parker, not Spider Man. Like Peter Parker
yeah,
has to be white. And I've said many times the reason why is because it if it's anyone but a white dude that this shit's happening to, it feels mean. Like if anybody like if you're
uh,
doing the shitty things you're doing to Peter Parker to any other race, you're like
now
that's
you're just
picking
being
picking
mean
on
and
somebody. Yeah.
racist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're picking on a different race. Like that's gross. But if you do it to Peter Parker, you're like, fuck him. Like, like we could deal with that.
Fucking honkies.
Um,
Um, do
but
you think
yeah,
Morgan Le Fay though would be like enough of a big bad to carry like an arc, like an entire arc,
like I don't know if she can carry an
like a
entire arc.
Doom? Because when you say
Okay,
big bad, I think like an arc villain, like Thanos, Doom,
she could be an
what
Ultron for an Avengers movie.
can't. Okay, yeah, like a big team up movie, but not necessarily an entire arc spanning.
She has ties to Doom. Like
Yeah,
there's I I don't know. Marvel also does a good job of casting villains as big names. With the exception of Loki, but also we had no idea what Loki was going to be. Like there was no way they
everyone in
had the
Thor
plans for
besides
Loki.
Anthony Hopkins was a basically a nobody. It was like Sir Anthony Hopkins was the draw in Thor.
Yeah, he was the only name I think. Well, Natalie Portman.
True,
Um,
yeah.
Natalie Portman. The Warriors 3 are named actors, but not in any way that would move a needle in either way. Generally speaking, Marvel had the correct idea, which is make the villain a like Iron Man. Let's get Jeff Bridges, right? Spider-Man. Let's get the Vulture, Michael Keaton. Uh, Robert Redford played the leader of Hydra, and then the leader of Shield that was Hydra, and then going back even further, Red Skull was played by
Hugo Weavings.
Hugo Weaving. Like Marvel casts big names to play the villain, and locks in contracts to I don't want to say smaller names, but less established names. Heimdall was the biggest name actor in the original Thor movie. Well,
Was a
bigger name,
bigger
yeah,
name.
bigger
Yeah.
name, yeah,
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 Idris Elba was definitely
yeah.
bigger than Chris Hemsworth at the time, because Chris Hemsworth basically after that was on like
Yeah.
Australian soap opera, and then like the Australian version of Dancing with the Stars.
Rene Russo. I did forget Rene Russo. I remember her in the second one. I don't remember her at all in the first one. But also, I don't remember the first Thor at all.
Because it's
Like,
so nothing.
yeah.
You get
But
like
Marvel,
Sam. Go.
that's the Marvel strategy, and it's been good. And it like their TV shows, they kind of went in a different direction. Um, they've cast an equal amount of like names and unnames at every point in their TV shows. Like Oscar Isaac was Moon Knight, and there was only one other named actor in that entire like real like truly named actor, and it was Ethan Hunt or Ethan Hawke.
Ethan
Sorry,
Hawke.
yeah.
God, I need to watch him eat
Ethan
soup.
Hunt is yeah soup soup. Thor was your favorite solo movie in the MCU? The first Thor was your favorite solo
Really?
movie?
It's fine. It's not
Wow.
a bad. It's just
No, I'm
like
not mad or crazy. I'm just like that. I
the
don't think I've ever
male.
heard that. That's too much
Bravo.
Dutch angle for
Actually,
me. Yeah, too much Dutch
you
angle
know
for me.
what?
But okay,
I salute you, Jay Trocious. I salute you. Someone
all
has to
right.
be on that. I want to say bandwagon because no one's jumping on that bandwagon, but that's got to be someone. Um. Ooh, that's an
Of
important
of
question.
Phase One, it's a tie between that and Iron Man One. Like I know it sounds weird, but the first Captain America was kind of meh.
Really, because I
Um,
love the first Captain America.
the first Captain America felt like a really long commercial. It was a good
For
movie, but like
what?
for Avengers. Uh
I mean, yes, it was because that was the
no,
payoff at the end of
I'm
it.
I'm thinking of Thor now, and I'm like,
I
introduced
just
Hawkeye, Coulson. Without that, we wouldn't have had Agents of Shield. Excuse me. Um, I thought Agents of Shield was a great show until it wasn't.
until the season where they go into the future to stop Chloe Bennett from blowing up the Earth, and then they come back in time. Everything after that was just awful. Um, but no, I loved Agents of Shield up until then.
So I'm just scrolling through Joe Locke. Ah, he is an unfortunate looking man.
No,
Just
that's just not a well fit suit. So, oh, by the way, everyone, if follow Die Workwear on Twitter because he's the dude. You've probably seen his post where he just rips into people, but also has like awesome like fashion dressing, especially if you're a man. Like he will teach you how to dress better, and you'll start noticing things like collar gaps, and like when someone bought a suit that was not tailor made for them because
Jesus, Jesus, the sassiest bitch on Twitter. What a title!
yes,
What a
Die
title!
Workwear.
Die workwear. All right, I'd look it up, but I'm afraid to type that in my Twitter and
No,
see what'll
no,
come
I
up.
promise you. Please do. Like,
This poster.
there's yeah, it's not fair.
Look at look at
But
this.
also,
Look at this Evil Dead Scream Queens
Final
beautiful
Girl,
poster.
yeah,
Oh, beautiful poster. Monster in the
the
background. Oh, it's so good.
scraggly, like loose somehow also calf high socks. Like, no
I'm
notes.
not saying there's a perfect woman.
But if there was,
If there but the next best thing is Aubrey Plaza. Mostly because I believe she's an insane person. I I believe she is
yes.
a. I don't believe she's putting on an act. I don't think she's quirky or
She's
manic
not doing like
pixie.
the Zoe Deschanel,
Yeah,
like, look at me, I'm weird. I think she's genuinely insane. Like, didn't she like buy someone like pilot lessons just to scare the shit out of them?
yeah. She bought her an ex boyfriend. I can't imagine why they're exes. Pilot lessons because she thought it would be funny to see how he reacted.
Yeah.
And that is that isn't key. That isn't hairdresser crazy. That isn't key your car crazy. That is like an STD crazy. Like that you will
No,
never
not
leave. That will be into your life forever. You know what I mean? Like your life will change with how I believe she's as crazy as like like she appears to be. And I think that they tone it down in interviews and stuff. Like the interviews, they're like, we have to cut that.
yeah.
She said don't squeeze the pancake batter. What does that even mean? We don't know. We can't say that. She's a crazy person. She's a 12 on the hot crazy scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I mean yes in all directions. Yeah, like no, it's not this one.
Marvel Comics. Screw it. Rogue Gambit, Uncanny X-Men 2, Kiss in High
I
Res.
told
What
you.
are these?
They
What is Marvel
they
doing?
they have been allowed to start horny posting. Oh, come on, scroll up. Scroll up though. Go back up. Is that just dinosaur ass right there? It is.
It's time. Well,
They didn't
Aubrey
either
Plaza
they
is unstable and possibly a psychopath.
sure.
Yes. All these things I believe. Yes. Yes.
I'm not excited about the possibility of Noel.
Okay, you're just goofy. You are just goofy for this cuz like I like
You
last week
know
I was
me.
like I was so excited that like I went from oh god Venom 3 is going to suck to oh god Venom 3 might not suck. They almost can't fuck up Noel because he's only got like 3 years of lore. Like
Sony, it's Sony. They're going to fuck up Noel.
word for word what Goofy said last week. Word for word. He was like, "No, you don't understand. Sony has a power, and with great power
Tony, they're
comes
gonna
great fuck up."
Tony, I want you to think about this. They're gonna Morbius Noel.
Don't give
They're
me hope.
going um no, but I mean like there's no way that Venom 3 ends with uh Venom merging with the Silver Sur or getting the what is it the what's the Silver Surfer chart or powered with the cosmic
The
force.
power
I forget
cosmic. The power
the power
cosmic.
cosmic. Taking Silver Surfer surfboard, morphing it into a giant battle axe, and then flying Noel into the sun. Like that's the problem. Like that is the setup on how Noel is defeated in King in Black, and we're gonna get fucking thrown off a spaceship or something.
But they showed us Lasher and Scream and Toxin.
Yeah,
How could it be bad with all those? Oh God, I'm talking myself out of this.
you
Hold on,
really
Jay hits us with psychopaths. Contrary to Lifetime TV, aren't always violent. They usually aren't. No,
you
there's
know
the core difference of
most of them work
psychopathy
in
and
Wall
sociopathy is psychopaths are unable to, uh, uh, what's the word?
perceive their emotions.
Yeah, to or like they're not empathetic. They have low or no empathy capabilities. Where sociopaths
Just
can
don't care.
absolutely no conscience. Yeah. Where on the other side of it, sociopaths they it's not about empathy, it's about an enjoyment in the result of that. So, yeah, no, psychopaths like yes, you can be a murderous psychopath, but that's unrelated. You could also just be a murderous regular person. Or a regular person psychopath. It's the same thing with like narcissists too. Like you can be a narcissist and not a completely toxic piece of garbage. It's just the ones you hear about always are.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the ones you hear about are like love bombing and all those things. And of course gaslighting, but as we know, gaslighting isn't real.
Lighting
You
isn't
made it
real.
up
You
because you're
made it up
fucking
because you're
crazy.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, like yeah, I don't think so. Like it's just its own thing.
It is a
And but that's what I'm like, I truly meant that when I said, like, I think she's a psychopath. Like, I think that she just doesn't, like, things don't register. And like, you could tell from interviews and conversations she has. Like, you're like, oh, she has no idea what's right or wrong. She just does what she wants to do. Okay. Or like, not that she knows it's bad and does a bad thing. Like, she clearly isn't doing bad shit, or we would have known by now, Kevin Spacey way. But
this is the third time today you brought up Kevin Spacey,
I read an
and like
article about him earlier.
and fifth time this week.
Listen, Kevin Spacey is a weird moment in time that we all have to address.
I mean, yeah, it did bring about like an entire cultural movement, and especially in how we view celebrities. Um, so
All right. So let's take a quick look. Starting from a week ago, what's going on? Newton Brothers confirmed OG Daredevil theme for Born Again.
wow,
They
whoa,
whatever they were doing,
whoa.
whatever they were doing with Daredevil, someone grabbed the wheel, right? And it's
Said it. Fucking
just
no.
just police spinning that wheel to be like, you suck and we're not doing this. Why don't we do the thing that made Netflix insane? Right? Like, why don't we do the why don't we just do that? Like, they were gonna kill Foggy and Karen off screen.
So they didn't have to put them in the show. I like how like 2 years ago we went from it's just going to be Daredevil and Kingpin, no Foggy, no Karen, no Punisher, to the show's been rewritten 3 times, and guess what? Guess who's back? Foggy, Karen, and Punisher.
Yeah, all the characters that we love. And
We are
now
6 weeks away from Elektra being back.
there were some, yeah, oh god. There were rumors that um Jessica Jones and the actor who played Iron Fist have met with Disney recently. The
Oh my
only
god, what
one
if they
who
just
hasn't, the only one who hasn't met with them yet, and this most likely is because the show he was working on is over but not over.
Evil?
David Coulter from Evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil, which is a show I loved. I think I've told you about it many times.
Yeah.
They it's over, but it's not over. Like, it was left in a very weird, like, they could keep going
'Cause that's a
on,
Netflix
or
show, right?
it was on CBS. Michael Coulter, yeah. Thank you. It was on CBS, and then it moved to like either Paramount Plus or CBS All Access, or one of the streaming services that's going to die in the next 6 weeks, or get bought out. I think is the better Paramount. I don't know which one. And they did it they did 2 seasons, and then they're like, nah, we're good. We don't want to make real content anymore. And there was nothing else. Like, that show was phenomenal. Kind of hope they give Finn Jones a second chance at Danny. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say something, and y'all are gonna be mad at me. I've said this before. He knows what I'm gonna say. Iron Fist had the best actors, both season 1 and season 2, had the best actors for a shit story I've ever seen in my life.
Oh god, that story was so bad.
The first Iron Fist story, everyone did a great job in their role. They just had shitty roles. Like the brother and sister, they were great. Everybody was great. It's just the story was kind of like womp womp. The first episode, the first season of Luke Cage was like weird because it was really interesting, and then it wasn't, and then Diamondback. Right? Like, it was like, what happened? And then the second season got a little convoluted. Jessica Jones, first season, through the roof, insanely good. Second season, meh. Third season, complete garbage. Was it third season? Which is the one with her
I was
mom?
like, I don't think I no, I think only Daredevil got 3 seasons.
I thought she had. But everyone had her mom. Then that was terrible.
Isn't that season 2?
No, I'm pretty sure Jessica Jones got 3 seasons. I'll check.
I don't know.
Yeah, season 3.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Season 2 was the one where
Only 2
her
JJ seasons. Someone agrees
no,
with me,
it
whether
says
we're
right
right
here,
or
season
wrong.
3. The third and final season of It's right here. Season 3, Jessica Jones.
Maybe they're being obstinate and like season 3 was so bad that we just don't
Released in
talk about it.
2019.
That year doesn't exist. That's the before times.
Season 2 had the guy who Nuke, I think his name was, that took the pills. And season 3, Rachel Taylor, Trish Walker, got addicted to the pills and started becoming Hellcat or one of those people. Um,
Wait, no, not Hellcat. Hellcat's powers don't come from pills.
no, but she was whatever. I don't remember what she became. Hellcat. No, she was Hellcat.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a bad season 2 and 3 sucked. And if you let me
Interesting.
put it this way, if you only remember 2 seasons of Jessica Jones, good, you're lucky, you won. Don't watch the third. But like, Daredevil.
Well, that's because Aaron Moriarty only has one fantastic role.
Hope Schlottman.
Wow.
Aaron Moriarty has one fantastic role, and it's buccal fat surgery and botched Botox.
Wait, she was the problem child from season 1 of True Detective. Everything comes full circle, Tony. Time is a flat circle. The greatest season of television ever written.
It
I
was
can't
for,
tell.
like, okay, you got Matthew McConaughey, you got Alexandria Daddario's full titties, like like if you haven't seen the first season of True Detective, weren't there aliens? Was it
No.
aliens? What was the
No. So season 1, I don't okay, it's been long enough, but if you haven't seen season 1 of this True Detective, literally close your ears because you do need to watch it. So it was about basically an elitist not like child kiddie porn, but like they would kidnap women and then like they were in a cult and they would just like ritually rape them and sacrifice them. Matthew
yeah
McConaughey, Woody Harrelson played the 2 cops
yeah?
uh
I thought
investigating this
didn't Matthew McConaughey have like weird visions that he thought were aliens or
because he
something?
was no because he was a like I wouldn't say paranoid schizophrenic, but he was a in Vice. He was like had been deep undercover. He was just like this super weird, fucked up dude who is also like super intellectual and weird about it. I will always quote that humans need to walk hand in hand once more into that great midnight. Literally because humans suck and we don't need to exist as a species for this planet to continue. Um, anyways, how are y'all doing?
And there's the opposite of Goofy, as Goofy is single-handedly repopulating
Yeah,
the planet.
I don't want
So
children. Goofy is
Goofy
currently
has enough
making
for
more.
both of us.
Yeah.
Um, no, yeah, True Detective was phenomenal. Now that I think about it, yeah, Erin Moriarty was in that, man.
Yeah, she plays his daughter. And then God, she goes off the like high school deep end where she's like it's not just a phase. Uh
Sorry, all 6 episodes of yeah, that's how we got here. All 6 episodes of Ironheart have their writers' credits up. I'm
I'm
still
not a
shocked they're making Ironheart and they're not making Iron Wars.
I'm not a fan of shows that have different writers for each episode when it's not a changing format. When you are like telling it can like I know it's the same three people, but if like someone wrote each different episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, nothing matters, right? Because it's no story is continuous, but you can have these self-contained episodes, but if you're going to do a continuous story through 6 episodes, and even for only 6 episodes, you got to let one person write it.
So I'll do my usual thing where I kind of peel back the curtain a little bit of Hollywood back stuff. For TV series, when there's a different writer getting credited, it is because that is the size of the team, generally speaking.
Sure.
So if there are 6 episodes and there are 6 unique writers credits, the team of writers is at least 6 people long.
Fine. Fine.
This isn't Babylon 501. No, but there are shows. So like writers, like look at Rick and Morty, right? I'm always fine with different directors. I don't care if a
Sure.
TV show has 20 episodes and 18 different directors, right? Like because anyone can direct if anyone can drive a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Like it's not hard. Like it's designed to go fast. Um so I don't really like when I see a lot of different directors, that doesn't really bug me that much because the vision is overseen either by producers or something. It used to be like head writer was the one who got the credits and then there were other writers who would get like different things. That kind of changed. I think that's going to happen. You're going to see that more now with the after the writer strike, where members of writing teams are going to get more unique credits if it's the only way to get everybody paid fairly and noticed. Because let's be clear, nobody reads the credits. The people who read the credits of a TV show or even a movie are only ever people in the TV, like in that business. You don't care who was the key grip, right? Like who cares? But someone might be like, oh, this guy was the key grip on that. He must be trustworthy. Or the credits of a movie are generally like a live resume that you don't have to worry about because you can always refer to it. Um, so I think that's what's happening with writers. But on the other side, it could just be the same thing that we got with like the last 3 Star Wars movies, where they're just like, let's get somebody completely different in charge of everything. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but if one person isn't overseeing all of it, like a phone call, like that's why we had such a tight like how many flops were in the first 3 phases of Marvel? Maybe like 3 movies that were bad. Like
I mean, it used to be literally just
it was like Thor: Dark
Thor
World,
and the first Ant-Man.
first Ant-Man movie. I like the first Ant-Man movie, but I don't think
But
it was a great
regardless,
movie. Yeah.
it was
Um.
viewed as a flop. Like
Yeah.
of the Iron Man 3
Iron Man
was the
3
other
too.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like we can like Ultron wasn't a great movie, but it could
Still
have
don't
been
understand
better.
people that say that. I never understood the argument on how Ultron wasn't a great movie.
It was in my mind
Or sorry,
it
a
was a little
bad movie.
rushed. Oh, I don't think it was a
Like
bad movie.
I get like
No.
Joss Whedon is not like great at what he did, but he was just the director. He was not the writer, and like I think the writing was in it was fine. I think all of it made sense.
Ultron,
Yeah, the No Strings on Me was
yeah,
phenomenal and
best trailer.
terrifying. James Spader, perfect as the voice of Ultron. if any one villain could be brought back, it would be James Spader Ultron for me.
He's coming back.
Um, is he?
Yeah, he's coming back in the Vision show.
Sick.
Yeah. Not only did he hate doing the Avengers movie,
Cares what Joss Whedon cares about.
yeah, not only did he hate doing it, he was proud that the second movie came in 1 minute shorter than the first one. And this is
Wait,
that.
that Ultron is 1 minute shorter than the Avengers?
Yep,
Okay.
1 minute shorter. That was a point of pride for him. Again, I'm not a director. I understand that movies want to be a certain time so that they can run multiple times in theaters. That's how you make more money. 90-minute movies can run more times than 2-hour movies and more than 3-hour movies, you know, like. But there was a lot of threads in Ultron that it felt like we weren't set up for it. It was fine. Like it was the worst Avengers movie. Right? But like what does that mean, right? There was 4 Avengers movies. One of them was Infinity War. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
then yeah, so like Infinity War
No
was the
one's arguing.
best. Like, you know. And then I think like Endgame and the first Avengers movies you can toss up. So then there's Ultron at the end. But Ultron's a phenomenal character. I think the biggest issue at the time with Ultron, at least from my perspective, was Marvel was up to that point really good at saying we're not going to do it exactly, but you're going to believe the version of it we're telling. You
Sure.
know, like we're not
Yeah,
going to
because
this
Hank
isn't
Pym doesn't
exactly
create.
Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like and that's fair, but just what they set up with that, it it almost felt like they're like, how do we do this? Fuck it, just do it this way. It was almost like someone made like it's the difference between I have an idea for a show, these are the characters, this is what happens, and then someone in that process going like, oh, can any of the characters be a woman or Haitian or pick something and be like, yeah, that's fine. Like I could write that into the story versus being like, I have an idea for a show about 7 Haitians. And then you're like, well, that's okay. This is a Haitian show. Like it's top down versus like bottom up kind of design. Where like you can always tell if a show is doing something because it's doing it well and it wants to tell a story and they're casting good people to play the roles, or if they want to cast people so they write the story around the what they want to cast or how they want to tell or something like that. Ultron felt like they're like, this is the story that we've decided we're going to tell, go, as opposed to this is what would make sense with what we've already set up. But that again,
Uh,
okay.
well, so like I see what you're saying, like overall, but like the story does make sense, right? Like the PTSD instant overreaction of Tony Stark to try and solve and create something, creating a bigger problem. I mean, you can't tell me you like. Granted, it would have made honestly, it would have made more sense if like Reed Richards ends up creating Ultron in some type of like overreactionary type of response. But like, still, we didn't have Reed Richards in the MCU at the time, so they went with the next biggest lunatic with the brains to do it.
And Vision ended up being one of my favorite characters in like throughout time. Even Civil War, like the difference to me, because Civil War felt like a mini Avengers movie.
It was an
Civil
Avengers movie,
War
let's be honest.
wasn't Civil War, but I understood why it went. Like by that time, I understood why Tony had the stance he did. I understood why Cap did. I saw they both took two different journeys, and that's where it led. I understand how they chose to tell Zemo as a character. You know, like, okay, he's not Hydra yet, but he could, you know, like, what does that mean? He's not Hydra. Everyone, like, who cares? Um, Civil War told that story well, and the changes from what the comics did to that made a little bit more sense than I think like Ultron did. And it had parts too. Ultron, like I said, it was never a bad movie. It was fine, but it was, you know. And that was the first three phases. You know, as we're talking about like, bad movies in the first three phases, like there wasn't many. And then we had just a disconnection throughout all of Phase 4 and now Phase 5. Just even Deadpool and Wolverine, which was fucking great. Like, did it matter? Will it
No,
matter?
no.
Who cares? It was fun. So
Yeah.
like,
I
you weren't a part of this chat, but what me and Goofy been saying is like Deadpool and Wolverine can't fail, like because Marvel needs a win, but if it doesn't do well, we were talking about this months before it came out. If it doesn't do well, that's not bad. If Captain America: Brave New World fails, bad, right? Like that's the movie that has to be good.
I'm sure
Good.
every. Oh no, I'm just thinking. I was like, are they really placing that much in Captain America: Brave New World? I feel like they're not because like there's been no hype around it. Like
Who are the
from
current
Marvel.
Avengers?
Right, exactly. I understand where you're going, right? They need a reset for the next Avenger movie because we don't know who the current Avengers are. But like think about like how much buildup there was for like all of the phase 4 stuff. And uh we've seen exactly one trailer and one uh movie poster for Brave New World. Like they're not building it up as anything it's supposed to be.
No, but Deadpool and Wolverine couldn't answer questions.
Well, yeah.
Captain America has to. Not every question, but it has to.
What question? Just like
The
where do we
the
go?
simplest question, because now we know things. Previously, we were asking. Previously, we were like, okay, how are we getting to Kang? Right? How are we getting to Kang Dynasty? And there wasn't a lot of setup for Kang Dynasty. We got Quantumania.
Well, and then before
Quantumania.
that, uh, Loki.
Well, I in general I try to keep the movies and the TV shows separate.
Why they're not?
They aren't from a person who is like a true fan, like an actual fanatic,
But
but
they're
they
not
are.
even from the MCU standpoint. There are certain shows that are like Moon Knight is. I don't even think it's like in 616 or
There were
whatever the
none of the
MCU's in.
shows needed to be watched for the movies to make sense. They just added more. Like even WandaVision, if you never saw WandaVision, they
Mm,
Multiverse of Madness did a reasonable job of
okay,
explaining what
yeah,
Wanda did. You know what I mean? Oh, listen, I'm not saying it was a good movie and it should have done better. But here's the problem. If you did see WandaVision and you saw Multiverse of Madness, you're still kind of like, wait, wasn't she? How did she get from there to there? Like, it's
I
still
love
a
that
lot.
your biggest critique back when WandaVision came out and when we were doing the other podcast and we were reviewing it, your biggest critique of Wanda was going, she's not a mother.
She's not.
You were see you were so adamant because Vinny and I were explaining of like, no, the character makes sense. You know, this trauma, her children were taken away, and you go, no, 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 I'm not buying it. She was never a mother. She doesn't get this fury.
Yeah, And even last week, I was like, I call shenanigans and tomfoolery on all of it. Why did she have to take down the hex? Oh no, these kids that I magicked into fucking existence. I can't just magic into fucking existence again? I can't just shrink the hex and have it be around the kids and they could just no, fuck you.
Well,
You just
well, that was the thing. She wasn't controlling the hex.
this one.
No, she wasn't. She like on a subconscious level, she was, but like she had no control of like that she brought the kids in. Remember, it was a surprise.
No, she put up the hex.
She put up the hex, but like once it was going, it was basically on like autopilot.
Yeah, like, but that was her power as a Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. And then the children were and remember she was like did not know she like didn't go and now I think I'm going to be pregnant. She goes, "Oh, now I'm pregnant."
Oh, for what it's worth, I don't know how much of that she was playing into the sitcom archetype because the attitude she took when she took one step out of the hex to meet up with Sword, or yeah, Sword. When she took one step out, she's like, "Fuck y'all, leave. This is my hood." Like, she didn't. It wasn't like a moment where she like it wasn't a moment of clarity where she woke up and was like, "Oh no, this is happening." Like, she had subconscious control of the hex, and at the end, after she absorbed all of Agatha's powers and then became the Scarlet Witch, she had way more control over the hex. I'm just saying, she could have just made the hex around her house, and then her kids and Vision could have just hung out in that magic house. She expanded the hex when she was mad. She could have just been like, and then her house was just the place.
But she, and by then
she wasn't a mom.
She wasn't.
She wasn't a mom. Comic Wanda absolutely was a mom.
Yeah.
Comic Wanda, because she had those kids. They just also happened to be parts of Mephisto because he's a piece of shit. But no, I was so mad because I was like, why is she crazy? Just make more. Make another pair. Like you. And then the movie, I was so mad when the movie was just like, what has she been doing this whole time? Ruining a fucking vineyard and trying to kill a teenager. Fuck you, Multiverse of Madness.
Or why not just find a universe where the boys had lost their mother? Boom. Everything solved. But no, she wanted to go to the one universe where they, still had their mom, so that she could kill her and take her place.
There was a good line in that did a good job of explaining like how far she's fallen from sanity. Where Doctor Strange was like, we'll just find you a pair. Like, it's fine. We'll find your kids. And then she was like, what if they get sick? And the answer is in another universe. I was like, oh, she's completely batshit now. Okay, cool. Boom, immediately cut to the scene where they're fighting with music notes. I'm like, oh, okay. My memory of that this is my memory of Multiverse of Madness, okay? In order. Wanda being a crazy bitch. Just Wanda being a crazy stalker bitch. The Illuminati being the dumbest fucks in the fucking planet. Like they soloed they soloed is a rough thing to say, but they were able to beat Thanos, and then like, Wanda, we're gonna we can handle your Scarlet Witch. Not only could they not, I'm convinced Thanos is still alive. Like, they're so bad at what they do. Did you see the leaked script from what the movie was supposed to be originally?
From what Multiverse of Madness was? I know we talked about this a long time ago.
So it just got confirmed. Say whatever, like Bo DeMeo just talked about it, kind of confirming the past. So the original story for Multiverse of Madness was that after Westview, Wanda went to the Sorcerer Supreme, who was Wong because of that, to train under Doctor Strange to gain her powers. And uh, Blackheart
Mm-hmm.
was hunting America Chavez for the ability to travel through the multiverse. And Wanda, over the course of the movie, loses her strength in trying to be good when the like she brings the Darkhold to Doctor Strange, they train, they move on. Blackheart ends up being a Darkhold corrupted Doctor Strange the whole time. They defeat him, and the Darkhold is left there, but now like fully unlocked its powers or whatever. And now Wanda, having been with hearing the voices of her kids and understanding the loss and interacting with Wanda, with America Chavez, she like kind of snaps, becomes the full Scarlet Witch, and accidentally kills Wong. And like in like her haste, like to take the Darkhold and get out, accidentally kills Wong and fucks off. Now I don't want Wong dead.
No one
Well, I
does.
love no one wants Wong dead. Um, but that story at least kind of, and I'm giving it like the
Yeah.
dollars the elevator pitch on it, but that story kind of made more sense because okay, if you didn't know what happened, that setup of well, what Wanda after what I did in Westview, for more information, see WandaVision. I feel like I need this control. I need help. I need to understand my powers because she's not she's magic, and the only person she would go to about that is the only person she knows that knows magic, which is Doctor Strange. That all made sense, but apparently the reason it was changed, one of several reasons, but like when the writer, like there was some kind of fight between the director, the writer, and Kevin Feige. So the director and the writer left. They got a new writer and a new director, and the writer never even didn't watch WandaVision. He was just like, Wanda's the bad guy. This is how I want to tell the story. And Sam Raimi is a horror. So like, I think Derrickson was the original director, the guy who did the first Doctor Strange, and he was ready to do a horror. And then they're like, let's try Sam Raimi, and we got that movie, which like it was a good Sam Raimi movie, like for
Yeah.
whatever that's worth. But I'm
And he
just trying to
had
see
Bruce
anything
Campbell
else.
in it.
And he punched himself in the fucking face for three
Yeah.
weeks. I disagree. Ilyana Rasputin is magic. Fair, fair.
Bravo.
Yeah. So yeah, no, like I said, nothing major. Uh, you know,
That's gonna be probably one of the most garbage movies
or
of all time.
Thunderbolts.
Yes. We talked
Really?
about remember we talked about this because I think what was it? It was not was it a Comic Con or something? It was like one of our last episodes actually, and they had announced Thunderbolts and we looked at the cast of who was gonna be in it, and we're like, oh, this is just four Captain Americas and Ghost. So yeah, I have because it's Red Guardian, a Super Soldier. You can't see it, but I'm counting. Super Soldier. Uh, oh my God,
It's Bucky, Red
Bucky.
Guardian, U.S.
Um,
Agent.
U.S. Agent. Um, Baron Zemo. And oh my God, Florence Pugh.
Yelena.
Yelena, and then Ghost.
I think Thunderbolts is set to be a pretty. So here's the thing: the original bad guy, or the original villain of that movie is Sentry. So it's given real fucking Suicide Squad vibes, right?
Look, it's fine. It just like from the entire like cast of people who have been Thunder. Oh, I love Yelena. I am excited for more of her. It's just of all the cast of people that like have been in Marvel that they could have started a different Thunderbolts team from the comics, from other, Marvel villains. They picked four super soldiers and Ghost.
And it's because Isaiah Bradley is in Brave New World, so they couldn't get the fifth one in.
Yeah.
Um, I Thunderbolts. I've been
They
for a
could have
while. I've
waited.
said there's no
They could have.
magic anymore. Like
Yeah.
they over the last 3 years, they've kind of taken the ooh, what are they doing out of the like they tell me stuff, and now I'm like, all right, whatever. And the things that I loved about like Phase 4 and I'm just gonna say Phase 4, I loved. Like I loved Shang-Chi. The ending maybe could have gotten a little bit like a second pass, but the Shang-Chi I thought was a great movie. But then there was Eternals, and I was like, who's this for? Who's this for? Remember we were talking about AVX,
Yes.
and we were like, who's this for?
Who's yeah.
Except Uranus just
Except for
bodying an
me.
entire planet.
Apparently, it turns out it was for me because there were so many cool, an entire godlike being just agreed with Doom and also Scott Summers because he's like, you can't judge me. Only my wife can judge me. Do you know who my fucking wife is?
Yeah, Scott Summers just staring at a god, being like, "Do you have any idea the top tail trim I fucking slayed?" And the god's like, "Let me check." Holy shit! I'm
Oh,
sorry, sir. Would
okay,
you?
yeah, you're
Oh,
good.
wait a minute. You had the embodiment of life and Emma Frost, and they haven't killed each other, and they're both still interested in having sex with you at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time. He's
The
like,
fact that they're mad at each other and not you for
yeah.
having sex with them.
When you think about X-Men '97, that was the most unbelievable
Yeah,
part of that was that Jean would ever get mad at Scott. Like all if you ever read comics, you need to understand that Scott Summers comes diamonds and has a dick made of Godiva chocolate. Like he is the perfect man for every woman in the world. Goofy,
yeah.
we talked about this, baby. I
No, I'm
told you
very,
what was gonna happen, Goofy.
you
I
know,
told you.
Tony, you don't have the powers of Scott Summers, so
Yeah, right.
so it is Goofy
How's your
Emma in this
birthday, baby?
situation, and I'm Jean Grey, or am I Emma Frost and Goofy's Jean Grey?
I'm gonna let y'all fight that out. I'm not getting in trouble. Cyclops got
I'll
other shit to do. While y'all fight this out, I'm gonna go fuck Madeline Pryor. Like it's fine. It was funny because I was talking to Goofy earlier today too about
yeah.
videos and stuff. So I was like, "Come on, dude." Uh, but I told you I was gonna go live this week, everybody. I was like, I can't miss another week. Tony is already your side piece. Can a side piece really cheat? That's true.
That
I
is
do live
true.
in the bathhouse in the pool house of Goofy's pool house. Honestly, he's been taking your stance, Goofy, the entire time. He's been righteous through and through. I'm just like reading through some of this stuff. Like this is a completely dead week, man.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I can and then we have rumors. I'll take a quick look at any rumors that are coming out. Oh, here's the Beau DeMayo reveals the original Doctor Strange plan I was mentioning. It's on
Okay.
Reddit if anyone wants it. Noel, co-creator Donny Cates, great fucking writer, says he's been talking with Sony and praising the Venom: The Last Dance script. Oh man. Oh man. Donny Cates really, really, really hitching his tiny little boat to the
No,
Titanic on this
you
one.
want to know why he is? Because I actually remember reading this when the trailer came out. Of they originally did not know that Noel was going to be in it, and they were like, "Oh, so we start getting paid now." And you know what? So he probably went to Sony and was like, "Yo, y'all have to fucking pay me." And now that he's getting paid, he's like, "Hey, man, this shit's great."
To be fair, that sounds Sony to a T.
Yeah,
Like So like they have the rights to Spider-Man and his related characters as of what 2006 whenever they made the deal. They don't have the rights to characters that were created after the deal went through.
Yeah.
Um
To be
without
fair, Noel's not even a Spider-Man character.
no. No, if anything he's a Guardians of the Galaxy character.
Yeah.
He probably thinks it's
Spider-Man.
MCU a la Madam Web ladies. Oh, I feel so bad for them. Oh, it's been a while, guys. Hold on, let me fix something.
Is this the part of the show where Tony just pulls up a picture of Sydney Sweeney's rack and he just stares at it quietly and I have to come up with words to make this awkward
I
to not sound like Tony's jacking off over there?
I need you to understand how accurate what you just said is and
It's
how
like
it is.
it's like I know you. It's like I talk to you every day and it's not like we've done this before, you know.
Behold, Sydney Sweeney's titties. They exist for us. It is proof that even though we drift from his light, God still cares.
I was going to say I'm not a religious man, but that was created by God.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
you
favorite
can't.
thing My favorite line of all time, though, is Sydney Sweeney's rack proves that liberals are wrong.
It's, uh, sure.
No
I'm not gonna
context.
fight it. What? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? It may, sure. Like I'm cool with that. Aubrey Plaza reacts to Agatha all along being called the gayest MCU project ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, have fun with your wife, Goofy. Tell her I said hi. Uh, I mean, like, if that's, you know
Yeah.
how when you ever go to buy a car, and you know how there are some things that you're like, oh, that's nice, but there are some things you can't live without. Like, for me, it sounds weird, but like I really need a tilt and telescopic wheel. I need it to go in and out and up and down. I can't just do up and down because I'm a big dude, so if my wheel doesn't meet me, I can't sit too close, you know, I I don't and like Aubrey Plaza, it better be because that's what I signed up for. Like I don't understand whom that information is for because so far I'm 2 episodes in. I like the show and I don't care. Like yeah, at one point oh, so for anyone who missed, yes, Tim,
Boomist.
who missed. At one point in the show,
Hi,
the
Tim.
character who is not named, we know is Billy, but the 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 character, he can't say his name. Like every time he says his name, Agatha can't hear him. Every time he
He
does
hit that last
something.
night. You're a day late, Tim.
Who hit
Shohei
50-50?
Otani. Shohei
Oh,
Otani hit 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. He's now at
nice.
51-51. He did it last night in the craziest offensive performance I've seen in a long time. He went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs, 2 stolen bases.
Guys, remember last week when I was talking about how much I love baseball and I have friends that I only talk baseball about? This is one of those
Hey,
friends. This is one of those friends. Because I don't talk baseball to everybody. Because if I just try to bring baseball up to a random person, they're like, "Oh wow," you know, like, "Oh good, I'm gonna go die." But yeah, baseball, me and Ominus and Gaucho,
I'll, I'll, yeah.
like and Gaucho. Um,
And it's probably the same conversation too, except for, my points are probably a little bit more articulated and I say dude a lot less.
I'm afraid
But
that
who's calling it the gayest MCU project? Like that's what matters. Actually, it doesn't matter because none of this matters. It's bullshit, and I don't care. But
it
like
matters
who?
if it's being marketed that way because
But
that
it's
is
not.
inviting. Correct. And to my knowledge,
Yeah.
that Billy's gay, but Billy's also gay. And at one point, he's driving, and a dude calls, and he looks at it, and he like fuck off, like he hits the fuck off button, and he goes, he worries. And I'm like, he's sassy. Billy's super sassy in this show. I fucking love it. Like he is full queen mode, absolutely phenomenal. Um, but this is like if
Also, take like any.
see,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
look, like we are 3 posts down. This show isn't for you. Like this was
Yeah. I'm not.
invited, but this conversation, like, why are we inviting? Like we don't feed trolls, right? Like don't.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm not gonna take any credibility from someone named Dude's Ex Machina.
No, I don't care. But it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's credible. It matters if this is if the show is gay, let it be gay. It's as TLC said, just tell a good story, and nobody gives a shit outside of Star Wars fans apparently. Uh, oh, last week I was telling Goofy that there aren't actually lesbian space witches in the Acolyte. He's like, wow, that's crazy because that's all I've heard. I'm like, yeah, because people kind of ran with it, but there aren't. There might be a
Wait. Night
pair of
Sisters.
lesbians.
Were Night Sisters not in the Acolyte?
It
I
wasn't
haven't
Night
seen it yet.
Sisters. It was a different.
Because that is the true lesbian space witches society. It by the strictest definition, lesbian space witch society.
No, they're not lesbians. They're male
And-
Dathomires. They're male.
Yeah, but like,
They use them for breeding.
yeah, that lesbians also use people for breeding.
That's fair. You're not wrong. Uh, how am I wrong here? No.
Yeah,
No.
because
Like,
remember, I like Star Wars. I just hate every Star Wars fan.
see, this is what it comes down to. When a project talks like this, it makes like
But it's not the
I
project.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Jay's nail in the head.
Yeah,
There are people that care about gay characters. There are people that care about straight characters. There are people that care about trans characters. I watched Euphoria, and I enjoyed Euphoria for more than just Sydney Sweeney's titties.
Tony,
They
it's
were they
creepy
were up
saying
there.
you're a grown man. You're not the
It was a
target
good
audience.
show,
For, yeah,
but it doesn't matter if it's a good show. If I'm not the target audience for something, I enjoy it, that's a sign of a good show. Right, like look at I'm not the target audience for 96% of shows on the CW.
yeah.
Right,
There's just
like
a certain something creepy about you watching Euphoria.
I have my pants on the whole time. Everything's fine. Uh, it's a good show, but like it there are shows that like here's another show. There's a show called Scream Queens. I did not like it. That show was clearly not for me, and I could not get into it. I thought it was like a horror movie, like horror style Pretty Little Liars. It wasn't. It was a weird thing. So I was like, oh, it's not for me. But it was apparently a very popular show, got a couple seasons. That's fine. There can be shows that aren't for me that find their audience, but like advertise the show as a good show and or as an
But that's
interesting
what I'm saying
show.
is Disney's not advertising it as the gayest Marvel project ever. That's something someone
No, there's
said.
no way. Well, the only reason that's kind of coming up is because Acolyte
Well, if
was
you look at
marketed.
all of
Yeah.
these comments, it's acolyte, acolyte. Again, there's a
Yeah.
reason why I hate Star Wars fans. Red
Yeah.
Team Reviews literally has the best comment. Can't wait for people who say they won't watch it to still have an opinion on it anyways. Like,
Yeah. I don't think around your ankles still counts as
no one. Oh my
still on.
god.
Thanks, TLC. Also, Penguin came out this week, so I'm gonna watch that at some point. Now that I remember that, yeah, I can't, man. Like,
Also, just look at the number of like blue check marks, and like that tells you like half you need to know about all these people.
imagine paying for a blue check mark, and then take a moment, right, and then imagine the justification that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, they
Well,
have a justification.
it makes my posts more
How else
viewable.
will you know it's me?
Let's find out.
No
Let's find
one,
out.
not a
Let's see.
single
Let's see
goddamn
what Joe's up
person.
to. He has
Joja777.
281 followers. Good job,
Okay, if
Joe.
you click on that, I guarantee you, because I on
Let's see
Twitter
what
have
Dude's Ex
like
Machina has. 1,000
I hold on.
followers.
I on Twitter and I don't post anything on Twitter. If you do somehow manage to find me on Twitter, you'll see I post about one thing and one thing only, and that's my weekly music 5x5, where I showed the 5x5 grid of like what I listened to that week, and that's all I talk about on my Twitter is just music. I have 167 Twitter followers. 5 of them are real people. The other 162 of them are porn bots. I don't do anything to attract the porn
So
bots.
many porn bots.
It just all is.
As well it should be.
What's my favorite thing
Nobody
though?
said that. Dude, like, what? This is okay. Here's Nicholas, 173 followers, and it's a. Okay, I'm not. I have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah.
Uh, telling you. Okay. Dude, like, is
A
there
guy
ever
who
a
looks like a thumb.
discourse? Is there ever a discourse more ridiculous than Twitter discourse? This is why I don't like. I have a Twitter
Yeah.
account. I have multiple.
Hmm.
Like I
I
do.
interact. I
I
yeah.
I follow porn stars, like porn stars, and like three other things. Reddit, yeah. I don't even
My
have a Reddit account. I'm not
my
even logged
Twitter.
in.
Yeah, my Twitter is for baseball and music. That is I
And then
follow.
all of my YouTube channels have their own Twitter account, and those are just managed through one application. That it's like,
Oh, and I think I'm following Tony on Twitter for some reason.
don't undo that. Uh, what? Dude, Tony Scagili, the old one?
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
one that
that's
hasn't had a post in
the
5
one that's got like
years.
14,000 followers and hasn't posted ever. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the Twitter is made up space. I
Oh,
just can't.
Tony, now I'm just angry. The
What?
Nova show will focus on the Nova core and will not just Dick Ryder. So for anyone that doesn't know me, Rich Ryder, Nova is my favorite Marvel character of all time. Uh, and I hate um, what's his dumb name? I don't. I
Sam
almost said
Alexander.
Jason. I almost said Jason Alexander.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
No,
No
because
offense.
his name is fucking Dick Ryder. Also, because like when he does get like the entirety of the Nova Corps like during Annihilus was just fucking awesome. Like he's a character that like when he showed up originally wasn't super impactful, but he was just kind of cool and weird because he was like from space. Him being the human cannonball and all of that was just awesome. And then they really ramped it up, in the early 2000s when they started going with like Guardians of the Galaxy and kind of the whole cosmic space part of it, leading up to Annihilus. So, and then Sam Alexander, uh, literally is just the son of a cop. So,
I didn't tell my guest that he also. Jay loved the Acolyte. I didn't. My problem with the Acolyte has been my problem with all of Star Wars since. I want to say after the Force Awakens, like they are. There's a really good story. Not even like the prequels, to be completely fair. There's a really good story, told poorly, and shown worse. Like that's all. Every Star Wars story, with very few exceptions, like Mando season 1 and 2, um, Clone Wars TV show, Rebels the TV show. Every Star Wars story is like, oh wow, we have this really awesome story. Fuck. Like, what if we do this? Well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, but like they don't care. It feels like every time someone gets hired to do Star Wars, they're like it's the same as like the people who write for Spider-Man. Like the first checkpoint when you get hired to write for Spider-Man is like, do you fucking hate Spider-Man? And if your answer is anything other than
Okay.
unequivocally, like unequivocally, you just Star Wars Mandalorian first two
Ewok.
seasons. Ewok. Hold on. Ewok.
Yeah, that's
Ewok
that
is
took.
the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Ewok is the
Are
best.
you
Like I don't care. I'm in Anti-Valor. I'm in. Nova's discount Green Lantern, but I love some Dick Rider. Yeah, Green
no?
Lantern is definitely. They're very different.
I see where you're going. The Nova Corps, the Lantern Corps, yeah. But like that's the thing is like I think the Lantern Corps, obviously with like the font of their powers being like drastically different, like they end up being like having different goals, I guess. Um, in terms of like the stories that they tell. Like the Lantern stories are always intrinsically going to be emotionally tied because like that that's what the fuels the lanterns, right?
Yeah.
Um, whereas I think how they started out the Nova Corps, and then especially like a lot of Richard Rider's prominent stories are the focus on like a hero and like the turmoil of like him having to deal with the idea of um like being the last of the Nova Corps like weighed on him for he's because again it's another one of those like PTSD stories because he literally saw all his friends and comrades die. um
Verizon entrega cualquier teléfono en cualquier condición por un nuevo iPhone.
uh
Just found another picture of
and
Sydney Sweeney Wells.
yeah, I know.
It's time to go.
I'm talking about like the horrors of like all your friends dying, and then just out of the corner of my eye, boom, just Sydney Sweeney's rack, and I was like, well, I have to stop talking now. Um,
We're no, you don't. Keep going. It's important. The
whereas
tragedy.
and then my problem with Sam Alexander is that like none of it is earned. Uh, he literally just finds out his dad was part of the Nova Corps. There's nothing about Sam Alexander that actually makes him special or
He
like
is
even a
he is the same problem that I have with so many other characters. He exists because somebody said, "Let's get a younger Nova to be fun for kids." And the
like
the the answer
Miles
wasn't,
is great.
yeah, the yes, but Miles was not created to be fun for kids.
Sure. Yeah,
Miles was
Nova.
created by Bendis because his kids are biracial, and he was like, "Well, I should try to write something that like my kids will kind of identify with." And then spent fucking time, did research, got other people, like that's just some white dude who's like, I could write stories about Dominican kids. Like, did research, got writers in there, and told a good fucking story. Conversely, we have Ironheart, which someone mentioned they don't like Ironheart. I hate comic book Ironheart. I actually really like MCU Ironheart. Which she
Yeah.
was one of my favorite parts of Wakanda. They did her right. Like they did that type of character the way she should be done, not the way that like she's. It's the first time they've deviated from comics in a way that makes me happy, if that makes sense.
It does. But no, I mean, yeah, Sam Alexander. What he was he created for Spider-Man and Friends?
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
Sam
that's
Alexander. It was Girl White Tiger, who uh she was created in the comics about a year and a half before that came out because they planned on making that come out. And she's just the daughter of the previous White Tiger, who is in one of these things coming up. I don't
was
remember
it
what it is. Is it Daredevil?
the next. It'd either be that or like Shang-Chi as like the only things that could make sense.
I think it's Daredevil. I think it's the dude, the father or the original second, or White Tiger. Um, I don't remember truly. Anyway, other note: Marvel Studios and Sony are negotiating a new deal to feature Tom Holland's Spider-Man in additional MCU films. Kevin Feige will continue to oversee the Spider-Man movies. Keep going, keep going, Sony. You're doing Venom 3. You can't reboot it. Like, nobody will care. They're not going to make money anymore. We know Sony sucks. Everybody now knows Sony movies suck. No one's gonna. It's Daredevil. Thanks, TLC.
Cool.
Nobody's gonna get caught by that. No, like, dude, there was like the news surrounding Madam Web was that the actresses didn't realize it wasn't a Marvel movie. Like, that was the news titles. No one's gonna get caught with their dick in their hands anymore. So Deadpool and Wolverine has outgrossed the Avengers and is the fifth highest grossing comic book movie of all time domestically, which means
Cool.
it's probably the highest R rated of
It
all
is.
time then.
It is.
Yeah.
It well
And it was great.
it passed that milestone like 2 weeks ago.
Nice. No, they're gunning for PG-13 on Venom
Of
the
course
Last
they are.
Dance.
They are. The other ones were PG-13.
Yeah, TLC nailed this a couple weeks ago. All Sony needs to do is cut a
Yeah.
deal where they cash the checks and become producers. We'll
Yeah.
pay for the we'll front the money for the movie. We make our money back.
When it
Profits,
makes $1.2 billion.
Yeah, profits go 50-50, 60-40, like whatever. And they could have either side. Like, we make our money back from the movie and then we take 40% of the profits. Why would you not? You suck. You can't make movies. You like, I don't know. Oh no, the screen.
I lost focus.
It's fine. We're pretty much done here. Could keep into a slightly shorter thing. And again, the only things to do: go watch Agatha. If it's the
I'm back.
gayest or not,
I'm
there
back.
you are. If it's the gayest or not, it doesn't matter. It's been so far 2 episodes are released, and 2 episodes in, it's been fun. And if that's all I ask, right? Like, I'm enjoying this. I want to see where this goes. It is all women cast. Does that mean it's not for me? I don't know, because it's been entertaining, so it must be for me because I enjoy it. Everything's for me if I enjoy it. That, you know what I mean?
Just
Like,
meant the TV show about high school teenage girls is not for you, Tony, specifically.
Oh no, but that's not for me because of who I am in general. That's because of who I am specifically.
Yeah.
I'm a monster. I'll watch it this weekend. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And I'll check out Penguin because honestly, I really did like the Batman. I thought it was the best Batman movie we've ever gotten, and I know that's a controversial take.
No,
But,
it's true.
I thought the Batman was the best.
No one knows me, but I fucking hate Batman.
That's true. He hates Batman. I hate all the Batman movies, because all of the Batman movies seem to the idea that Batman's one rule is don't kill, which is decidedly Batman's not one rule, because that's every hero's one rule. Like, imagine Superman that didn't have don't kill as a rule. Like, who is that? I don't know. We'll check his ID. We'll put it on his tombstone. Like every hero, you're not a hero if don't kill is on your list. Like
Yeah.
even Punisher
Cool.
is an anti-hero. His one rule is no guns. Like that's his rule. Like because his parents died of guns. Like, but I like that movie because it explained that Batman is not one man trying to keep a city honest. It is one man with a finger in the dike of the most corrupt city built on an ancient Indian corruption ground. Like a swamp of corruption, a load-bearing supply of corruption, where if you remove the corruption from Gotham, it will be
There's
two
more
buildings.
corruption.
Yeah, it would be two buildings and a giant hole straight to the center of the earth. I like Twilight. As Batman, I could give or take. That's why I said it's my favorite Batman movie. I actually do think that as Batman, Ben Affleck did a really good job.
Okay.
Ben Affleck did a really good job.
I thought you were about to say Christian Bale. I was like, that's the literally worst Batman, fascist Batman, the military industrial complex Batman.
Yep. I hate it. I've gotten into fist fights over that movie. People, and not me seeking them, just saying like, yeah, there were fine movies, but they weren't really Batman movies. Like he was never the world's greatest detective.
He wasn't even a detective. He didn't try to solve one goddamn thing.
They actually had to offload all of his detective work to a guy, and that guy was Morgan Freeman. He had technology. He didn't feel like Bruce Wayne. And then my favorite part of the last Batman movie was when the stock exchange was hijacked. Was stolen. And
but I need to know where the best viewers are, Tony.
Yeah. The stock exchange was hijacked, and then, you know, the next day Bruce Wayne lost all of his money because, of course, during a violent insurrection inside a stock exchange, all trades are final.
Yeah. They actually allowed those trades to go through.
Yeah. They're like, weird that all those guys ran up to the stock exchange floor, started shooting people, and the only thing that went tits up was Bruce Wayne lost all of his shares. And when reached for comment, he was like, nuh-uh. No, like, that's what I'm saying. Gotham is so corrupt that movie didn't explain how that could have slid. And they took his house the next day. 4 people and a fuck ton of bots. Absolutely.
Boom. Told you. No, like, do you know in the real world how many people would get filthy rich if that level of trading was instantaneous and had no sense of like checks and balances or approval, or even like a 24-hour wait period that most even minutia like stock trading has?
Do you know that if you are, for like comparative purposes, if you are like majority shareholder of a company,
you can't just sell your stocks
and you
like
attempt to sell your stocks in a day, the stock exchange will not only fucking be like, no sir, the SEC will immediately be notified that you tried to.
Yeah.
You have to disclose, like, Bruce Wayne can't just sell all of his shares of his company in one day during a fucking like hijacking.
No, regardless of a hijacking, Bruce Wayne cannot sell majority stake in a company without a metric fuck ton of bureaucratic paperwork, filings, disclosure, months of lawyers and litigation.
Yeah, like Elon Musk tried to back out of a deal, and it took lawyers and months and stuff, and he had to vote like, no, absolutely not. Let alone the fact that, like, in the first Batman movie, they already established that Bruce and the stock market knew that because Bruce had to create shell companies to buy controlling interest of his company back. I don't know if it's the second movie or the first movie. But the one where he like Morgan Freeman was getting fired, and he was fired, and it wasn't Rucker Hauer, but it was the bad guy from a lot of other movies was going to take
Yeah.
over as Wayne went public. And he's like, yeah, but I own the entire company. I own 61% of the company. And they're like, that's not possible. He's like, yeah, I did it through 60 fucking shell corporations and stuff. Like, the amount
Don't
of
ask
effort
where that
it
money
took,
comes from.
yeah, the amount of effort it took for him to buy controlling interest in his company was so psychotic that there is absolutely no way we got his thumbprint and his vocal fucking cord. We can liquidate them all. Like, it's just not. Fuck that movie. Christopher Nolan, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to piss off a lot of people when I say it, is overrated. He is a good director. He is not the best director. Every Christopher Nolan movie and the people who enjoy Christopher Nolan movies are insufferable cunts. Like the movies and again, not if you're like, oh, I liked it, it was fun. But like every time it's like, oh no, you just don't get it. My guy.
Tony.
First of all, you don't either. And second of all, if I don't get it, that makes it not fun. It's not a good movie. Like that's
Tony, you
the
don't
whole
understand. We just live in a society. Okay.
like ugh. Nothing. Alright, yeah, that's it for Marvel. Go watch Agatha. Thanks for hanging out,
really.
Ominus. I appreciate it. Love to have you back in the future. We'll make room for a third.
Anytime, everyone, you'll get your regularly scheduled Goofy back next. I promise you won't have to deal with me and, my hatred for Batman and Sam Alexander.
To
Fuck
be
those
fair,
kids and their
we
yearning for
mostly
the
hate
mines.
DC here. We're mostly
Yeah.
hating DC. The children
Also-
yearn for the mines. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy your week. Hopefully there'll be something Marvel related, but at least we'll kind of catch up with a decent amount of Agatha, and maybe there's some little bits and pieces we could pull out of that for some theories, but who's to say? Anyway, have a good night, guys.